Community members gather at Queen's Park on Saturday, September 14th for a rally against gun violence, honoring victims and families while continuing the legacy of community leader Louis March, founder of the Zero Gun Violence movement, who passed away in July 2024. The event marked the conclusion of the Peace March 2025, bringing together mothers, survivors, advocates, and community organizations to share stories, call for action, and highlight the importance of healing. The rally was not only a response to recent tragedies, but a collective remembrance of all victims, including 8-year-old JahVai Roy, killed by a stray bullet in North York last month. His mother, Holly Roy, delivered a moving speech about her grief and the urgent need for community support.
My baby, and I can't even tell you how hard it is.
Gun violence disproportionately affects Black communities and other marginalized groups, including Indigenous residents. Youth in particular face heightened risks as poverty, systemic barriers, and lack of employment opportunities compound the cycle of violence. While year-to-date Toronto police crime statistics show a decline in shootings and homicides, the human cost cannot be measured in numbers alone. Their message was clear. Behind every bullet is a story, and communities must act together to prevent further loss. For Regent Park residents, a neighborhood also heavily impacted by gun violence, the rally reinforced the importance of investing in youth programs, trauma-informed support, and community-driven initiatives. Addressing the root causes, poverty, unemployment, and lack of opportunity, remains essential if the cycle of violence is to be broken. rptv was on the ground, capturing voices from the rally, sharing community reflections, and highlighting the urgent calls for change.
From a rooted perspective, we are demanding real, lasting, equity-focused solutions that get to the root of this crisis. We demand increased investment in affordable housing, youth development programs, and accessible employment opportunities for marginalized communities, culturally responsive, trauma-informed, and accessible mental health supports, especially for Black and racialized youth, community-based healing initiatives that reflect the lived realities of Blacks, Indigenous, and racialized communities, permanent sustainable government funding for grassroots organizations in areas hardest hit by gun violence, with a focused investment on boys and girls programs, policy reform that prioritizes community prevention, intervention, and healing. Today, we march in memory of every life taken too soon. We march in solidarity with every survivor still carrying the weight. We march in resilience because we believe something better is possible. We march in hope. Let it be the day we remember that silence is complicity, and that change comes when we act.
This event was a peace march just to raise awareness around gun violence in the city of Toronto, as well as for mothers, family who have lost people to gun violence. Elder Louis March was a giant among men, one of my mentors. He founded the Zero Gun Violence movement, and now we're continuing that with the Zero Gun Violence movement legacy. He was responsible for bringing together over 40 community organizations and different movements so that they could have the peace marches, the train ride, the Emancipation Day, so many different things that he was a part of, and just really giving a voice to the voiceless about gun violence in the city of Toronto. There's a huge impact because a lot of the people here have been affected directly and personally with gun violence, losing a mother, a son, a daughter, a brother, an uncle. So when they come together, they're able to have supports, be able to, look together to see how they can actually make change. The goal is to give a voice to the voiceless, right? Louis March would always say that no child is born with a gun in their hands. And behind every bullet, there's a story. So we're trying to highlight those stories. We're trying to bring awareness to what is happening in the city of Toronto around gun violence.
Our brother just passed and he was only 21. He'd always make you laugh, smile brighter than the sun. Similar backgrounds, one place where we're from. All it takes for your life is one bullet in that gun. This life's grimy, ain't no fun. The atmosphere that he brought with him can't be matched, that's a fact. Whether we were balling or just kicked up relaxed, for him, we all had so much love and respect. And I understand this is a test 100%, but it hurts because he was different, so separate, a soul of pure gold with intentions so genuine. with an intelligence not many were aware of, walked with a demeanor that nobody could be scared of. He never tried to be somebody that he wasn't, was never focused on stunting, he was trying to be something. And he came from a family that was welcoming and generous. The acts of kindness they've shown comes in abundance, so I'll always remember it. In his home, I never once got denied entrance, always so welcoming, never once selfish. His life was taken, such an unfortunate result. It's sad he had to pay for other people's faults. In this life, things come and go. Our youth is most influential because the years we start growing are the most sentimental. We're trying to live forever young. Ironically, we're dying that way. There's no shortcuts in life. You see, we all need to pray. Our brothers commit acts of violence, dying in silence, but this ain't charades. We got a voice. It's our choice to use it to better today and to better tomorrow, because the youth are getting older and everybody want to act heartless, hearts getting colder. Turning the other cheek, not even looking over the shoulder. The only time they react is when their boy slumped over. But I don't want to see Snapchat stories filled with mourning. That stuff's annoying. With their brother's name, you're toying. Put the phones down and for God's sake, put your head on the ground and raise your hands and pray. And stop trying to live lifestyles where the outcome's inevitable, because you'll leave your mothers with only memories unforgettable. Lifeless body on the bed laying there in a hospital. Can't believe what she sees, like an illusion that's optical. Blood drained from his face, eyes closed, body frozen. I ask God for his mercy and forgiveness to be open. When are we going to realize this life is misleading? We only realize our blessings when one blessing ends up leaving. Brothers idolizing the block life without knowing what the block's like. Killing innocent people don't make you savage, it's not right. Understand our duties in life, our main purpose, to follow God's rules and to constantly worship. You are not the angel of death, so stop soul searching before your soul's taken back and you got a closed curtain. But for certain, our brother's soul will be cherished, forever prized. His memory lives eternally and will resonate with his good vibes. My heart broke when I looked into his mother's eyes and realized before we start to lift left, how many more are left to die. Thank you, guys.
So when you look at the roots of youth violence, there's so many underlying things. And when you actually start to address those, then you look at the fact that a lot of people don't have jobs right now, right? There's disparity in terms of wealth distribution. Looking at resources, jobs, all those kind of things within very specific communities. That's what Louis used to talk about and, try to bring those people together. So when we look at it, there needs to be more investment in those communities, right? For me, I look at it, I'm one of those people that was invested in when I was younger, and now I'm here today standing as a leader. So I'm a product of being able to see when you have those after-school programs, when you have the mentorship, when you start to keep people off of the streets and give them some type of hope and some type of option, then change can happen. So I believe that we definitely have to invest more into our communities, into our youth, so that they can find a different path and make some things happen for them. Zero gun violence is possible within the city of Toronto.
I lost my son. Now it's 15 years ago. Still I'm fighting for his justice, and I don't get it yet. Even though I'm looking for his close scripture, and I did not get it yet. And that's what I'm looking for, justice. To me, I'm not crying only my son. I'm crying for all of the sons who died, all the daughters who died. This is our children. This is our future. And that's what's pissed me off. It is still we're not getting the justice. Still the moms crying. Still they don't stop the gun. Still another mother, she's in a pain, new pain. Today this group who put me, Mr. Zero Gun Violence, he came and he introduced me to this, the Louis March. The last year is not only I lost my son, I lost my best friend to Louis March. And it was double crime to me and double pain. So, and now it's like a few days ago, I hear about a young, 8 years old, while it's not on the street, while he's in a bed. That was really painful. And the other things I'm fighting was 250 young men still they didn't get it justice. They are banded. That's why it's a lot of mothers, they don't come out, they said, they put on their hands up and they said, F this country. I'm sorry my language, but that's what they're saying. We keep this country to have a safe haven. We didn't came here to have another gun violence here. So, I'm so sorry, but I'm standing for this, is all the mothers. I'm not crying only my son, but I'm crying for all the sons, all the daughters. It's a lot of moms say they've been in my shoes and I've been their shoes. And I'm saying to you, this gathering, that's a remembering for our children. And may Allah give them peace and the heaven. Thank you.
I'm Chucky, I'm with the Zero Gun Violence Movement. The importance of this is, one, is bringing awareness, but not just awareness to our local government, which is our municipal government. Then you have our federal and our provincial governments which need to hear what the people are saying in regards to the violence that's happening in our communities, and realize that it's not just about youth violence and putting the blame on our youth, that there are things that the government can do to change what the face of that looks like. But it's also awareness for our young people, for them to take accountability into some of the choices that they're making, and to see some of the hurt that's being caused by some of the bad choices that they're making. But also to create space for healing for those that have been impacted by gun violence, and also to celebrate the good that might come out of the bad, right? Everybody gathered here and sharing their voice is one of the good things that have come out of the many bads that have come out of the violence in our community, right? So I think rallies like this are important. They should continue. I think our government on all levels should look to support this, and not just support it, but even listen to what the people are saying.
My relationship with Louis goes back probably about 5 years, and just meeting in different spaces and conversations. Currently, I'm employed as one of the chaplains, the spiritual ministers at the Toronto East Detention, and my conversations with Louis were talking about the need for the faith communities to step up so that we can have an impact and be present for those who are hurting and harmed due to the gun violence. And as we continue to do that, we're bringing healing back into us. The reality is people just need love. And there's a place where we need to, at the faith community, be people who love one another. It's not only within our own faith communities, but in the public, in the streets, everywhere that we go. When I talk with men in the institutions, there's a lot of harm and pain that causes and leads to the violence. So until we're able to address some of the harms and the pain that leads to the violence, it's going to keep happening over and over again. And even Chuck and myself, we were just talking, and you know what? We all have a spirit, and we all need to protect and heal that spirit. And whatever faith tradition you come from, we know that in them they talk about the lack of violence or the need to stay away from the violence. And so this is what we need to do: honor and recognize that each spirit is a gift from God. And when we lose that idea or lose that understanding, the value of a life, that we can't give it on will, but we unfortunately we take it away from those who are given the gift to live their life. There is nothing but pain, hurt, and trauma that stands behind that. So we need to step in and cause a change. Louis asked me to come out to these marches, bring some of the faith community out with me, because he knows that, or he shared with me that unless we all come together, there's not going to be change. So that's why we're here. We're here for community most importantly, so that we can be a voice, that we can be an ear, so we can hear where people are coming from, and hopefully that with that healing, that things will be better in the future.
I am doing my very best to navigate this life without the physical presence of my baby. And I can't even tell you how hard it is to be strong for my other kids and live with the memory. You know, I was there with my son, and just the last look that he gave me before his life ended. It's such a... I try not to think about that memory and remember the moments I had with him that morning. And it's been helpful just to remember holding him in my arms that morning. He was still sleeping. And him saying, "Have a good day at work, Mom." I'm really, really holding on to that instead of the moments his life was taken. And I really want to honor my son's spirit by fighting this fight for all of us mothers who lost our children. Anyone who has lost a loved one to gun violence, I'm going to make a lot of noise, and I know I'm not standing alone. I'm really thankful for the community, everyone who has supported me and my family. I'm, as a city, I'm really disappointed at the lack of city community support here. There should be a lot more people here. And this is really sad. This is really disappointing. Because, you know, this city is so effing desensitized against gun violence. And nobody is immune. This happens in nice neighborhoods. It happens everywhere in our city. And our city really needs to come together. And there needs to be action. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this and honor all of their memories. Staying strong for you, baby. Miigwech, everybody.
My name is Aisha Martin. I am here today as a member of a population that is often overlooked. We are victims and survivors of gun violence. So being at the march today was important to bring forth awareness that there's an issue in the city and that families are left behind trying to navigate the systems and put the pieces back together of our lives. There's a lot of problems, but there's solutions for problems, and gun violence is not it.
Obviously, I'm a mother. I lost my son in 2019. He was 18 years old, and he was my only child. So I know many people here know what the pain feels like. It's never ending. It's every day. And I know we're all wanting to stop the gun violence, stop what's going on. Whether there's one concrete solution, I don't know. But if it's one thing that I realized throughout my son's life, I tried to be different from my parents. Like, you know, some of us grew up in homes that were dysfunctional. We grew up with parents that didn't know how to love their kids, right? And that feeling of emptiness and not being appreciated, maybe in my generation we're a little bit tougher, but the kids nowadays are not as tough. And dealing with my son's friends, I was like everybody's mother in his friend group. And if it's one thing that I realized is that I stood alone in everything that I did, right? I try to break all the dysfunctions that even I myself was raised with, and I try to do the opposite with my son. I myself, as a young lady, when I had my son, I had to teach myself how to love, because I didn't know how to love. When I look at my son sometimes and he does good in school or he was in basketball, I literally had to subconsciously tell my mind, give him a hug. So I say this to say that we're in a time where everybody's for themselves. Nobody looks out for anybody else. We become selfish. It's no longer the community that raises a child. And I can say from experience, I wish my son had that. I wasn't afraid to ask for help. I knew he just needed a support system. It's a child that didn't have a consistent dad in his life, and he wanted that man figure. And when you ask people for help, just to say, take him out. McDonald's, a restaurant, I will even give you the money for both of you. Just give him somebody, something to look up to. And I watched that emptiness destroy my child. He wanted a future, he had everything laid out for him. Because I chose that I was gonna love my child, I was gonna put good into him. And we have to think about nowadays what we put into our children, if we even put anything into our children. We need to start talking to our children, finding out what they wanna be later on in life, right? I know with my son, from a young age, he loves science. I always got him a whole bunch of science books with science projects. We sat down and we did it together. He didn't have much time to socialize and hang out because I made it a duty to put him in extracurricular sports. And then as he got older, I put him in a rep sport. And we have to realize a lot of these kids don't have anything to do, whether their parents can't afford it, whether their parents feel that it's a waste of money. I've raised my son with a lot of people telling me what I've done. Who has time for that? It's a waste of time, waste of money. You have time to do all of this. And it's like, what we need that time to put into our children. Because if we're not going to do it, we are going to lose them as we are in today's day at a rapid rate. And that's just my message today. I mean, whether you're here today, whether you know somebody else, another mother, get to know your children, talk to them. Because dealing with my son's friends, I realized the emptiness and sadness that they feel, like nobody cares. And that's sad. Right? I have parents that you sit there and you read your son's report card. I said every single word on that report card. But it's important for me to know what's going on in my son's life in the school system. And I go, it's a time for us to sit down and discuss his future as well. Most of these kids don't have a future. They just can't wait to finish high school and that's about it. A lot of us parents are enabling our kids not to be successful, not to be motivated, not to be go-getters. And we need to start putting into our children what we want them to be. All of us have come from different walks of life. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be marginalized. I don't know what it's like to come from a certain community. My parents came here. I'm grateful that they provided an excellent life for us. They built a foundation. They realized the system, the school system, the discrimination. So we were well educated on things to look for, things that we experience. And we need to start doing that. What your child likes, cultivate it. Make them feel like they're good at something. So if they like math, give them math assignments. Give them something else, but always constantly ask them, what do you want to be in life? Help them to figure out where they want to go, because most of these kids have no clue. Nobody has ever asked them, and nobody has ever invested in them. And that's my message today. Please invest in your children. Give them more of your time. It's a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice that's worth doing. I stand here and I did everything that I was supposed to do with my son. We were best friends, and I still lost him. And it's unfortunate. But we're in a society here where many kids are lost. His friend circle, half were good, half were going in the wrong direction. I tried to tell him drop his friends, but I mean, I know that was an unrealistic act. Like, I mean, children can't go through high school being a loner. They need that surrounding. And as much as I tried to put into him to drop them, my son was probably like myself and maybe where he got it from, I'm always wanting to help people. And his goal was always to help his friends that he realized that they did not have parents that even cared about them. So he was their motivator. And that was his drive in life, to help people. And at the end of the day, that is why he's not here today. Because he was trying to give his friends something that he had that he saw that they were not getting. He realized that his friends didn't think about a future or a life. So I ask all the parents right here that still have kids, friends that you know, stand up for each other, be there for each other. I struggled with my child more because I was the only parent that was doing what I was doing. So it becomes stressful when you have nobody to turn to talk to, when your child says, when nobody else does this. It becomes even harder. But support your one another. I still have majority of my son's friends, 6 years going on in my life. And I appreciate them, and I know why they're there is because who my son was, what he represented, and who I was to them. So they're my strength. I don't have anybody left in my life before my son. All of my friends eventually walked away. It's a lonely path to trod, but these young adults that looked up to my son are still there, and that's what keeps me. That's not the only thing that keeps, that's one of the things that keeps me going, is because I know I love them and they love me. And it shows me all the time what an amazing and awesome son I had, that they still carry the love for him, dedication for him. They're out there every birthday, every memorial, and it brings joy to my heart that I can say my son left a legacy behind.
Thank you.
This rally is like awareness of gun violence, and I hope that more people will show up next year, because we're here for our sons and daughters, and we have to support each other to come together to stop the gun violence.
They want to invest more on cops. It's the same thing the way they want to put cops in schools. It's more of getting more information from youth. And it's who is getting impacted are the youth and the people in the community, instead of investing more money in where it's needed and put more programs for youth support. For example, youth mentors. There's always money cuts, and it's always that when they build a relationship with youth, that service is gone because there's lack of money there's no more money. So I think the government needs to think of that, where it's very crucial, because in between the line for youth 12, 13, it's like a hidden spot that there's no programs for them. It's usually for older or under the 11, so they need to focus on those between the line to invest more.
How we doing?
Yeah, I think to do or make a change, like Anna said, we have to focus on the youth, like youth jobs for summertime. There's no jobs. There's a lot of youth in Regent Park or Moss Park sitting home because there's no jobs. So we have to focus on the youth, and we have to do a lot of work with the youth. And I think, like she said, most of the funding should be focusing on the youth. If we want to change things, we have to start from the root. We have to help the youth for a better future, for better jobs, and help them with the school. Some of them cannot pay the tuition, and they can't go to college or university. So they have to focus on the youth.
Your pain is immeasurable, your courage is so profound, and your presence is a powerful reminder of why we must continue to fight. I also want to recognize our elders, whose wisdom has carried our communities through generations of hardship and resilience, and of course our youth, who stand as the future refusing to accept gun violence should be a part of their story. My name is Jasminder Sekhon. I'm the Director of Community Engagement, Policy, and EDI at Victim Services Toronto, and I'm here today at the Peace March. At the Peace March, it's just been an incredible day where the community has come together. We have connected with one another, and really the goal of today is healing. And it's also a celebration of being able to come together and say no to gun violence and say no to more violence in our communities. So here we have the Victim Services Toronto tent. Victim Services Toronto has a 24/7 crisis response line that you can call at 416-808-7066. And we provide support to anybody who's the victim of any type of crime, including families of gun violence. And so here at Victim Services, we also have dedicated crisis counselors whose only job is to work with families of homicide and missing persons. And those people have also joined us at the march today. We recognize that our goal at Victim Services is to walk alongside and in solidarity with families that have been impacted by violence in their communities. And our goal is to provide healing wherever we can. Thank you.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us on all our social media platforms. Please visit our website for more information.